Every day you wake up, the first fight you face ain't out there in the world. It's not your job, it's not your bank account, it's not even the people who doubt you. The first battle, the real battle, is inside. It's between your mind and your emotions. Your mind says, get up. Your emotions say, stay down. Your mind says, you've got work to do. Your emotions say, you're too tired, too scared, too broken. And most people, they let their emotions win. They let a bad mood become a bad day, and a bad day become a bad life. They wait for motivation to kick in. They wait until they feel like it. But you know what I learned? The people who wait to feel ready rarely ever do. You want to change your life, you want to achieve something real, something lasting. You've got to understand this one truth: your emotions are temporary, but your decisions are permanent. Feelings are like weather, they shift, they storm, they pass. But your mind, if trained, becomes like a lighthouse in the fog, steady, solid, still shining even when the sky falls black. See, I've been there. I've had nights where I felt lost, confused, alone. Nights when the phone didn't ring, when the doors didn't open, when my heart was heavy and my faith was low. And in those moments, I had to ask myself, do I believe in the promise or just the feeling? I had to remind myself the mind is the captain, the emotions are the crew. The moment you let the crew take over the ship, you drift off course. You crash into things you were born to sail past. And I'm not saying you should ignore your emotions, no, not at all. I'm saying you have to lead them. You have to feel pain but still press forward, feel fear but still take the shot, feel sorrow but still show up with love. That's what separates the strong from the shaky, the committed from the convenient, winners from wishers. Because when your emotions run the show, you become a slave to circumstance. But when your mind takes the lead, you become a master of outcome. And that is when the game changes. That's when you stop reacting and start creating. When you stop drifting and start driving. When you stop surviving and start living. It's not about pretending to be fearless. It's about being brave enough to act in spite of the fear. To speak truth when your voice trembles. To move forward when everything inside you says, turn back. That's what it means to win, not just out there, but in here. When your mind is stronger than your emotions, you don't just face the storm. You become the storm, controlled, powerful, unshakable. You want to change your life, train your mind, because that's where the victory starts. Storms will come. That's not a maybe, that's a guarantee. If you're alive, breathing, dreaming, then sooner or later life is gonna test you. I don't care how talented you are, how rich you get, how many followers you have. The rain falls on everybody, and some storms, they don't ask permission before they show up. One phone call can change everything. One diagnosis, one betrayal, one failure that hits you so hard, it knocks the air out of your lungs and the light out of your eyes. And in that moment, your emotions rise like a flood: fear, anger, sadness, shame, and they want to take control. They want to drive the ship. They want to make decisions for you. And if your mind ain't ready, they will. See, I've been in the storm. I've stood in the middle of situations that didn't make sense. Moments where I looked up to the sky and said, God, why now? Why me? But you know what I learned? You don't grow when life is calm. You grow when the wind is loud, when the thunder rolls, when your heart is shaking but your feet stay planted. That's when character is formed. That's when leaders are born. Now let me be real with you. Sometimes the storm won't pass quickly. Sometimes it stays a while. People walk away, doors close. The job you thought was yours falls through, and your emotions scream, quit, run, give up. But listen to me. What breaks most people isn't the storm, it's how they respond to it. It's not the weight, it's how they carry it. You've got to be the kind of person who says, I may be in the storm, but the storm is not in me. You've got to learn how to be calm in the chaos. That doesn't mean you're numb. It means you've trained your mind to be steady, to be strong, to be strategic even when your heart is hurting. Because when you panic, you lose your power. When you let your emotions drive, they'll take you off the cliff. But when you step back, breathe, and think, now you've got control. Now you've got clarity. Now you're dangerous. And don't get it twisted, emotions are real, and they matter. But they were never meant to be the steering wheel. They're signals, not commands. You feel them, You acknowledge them, but you don't bow to them. Every strong person you admire, they've walked through storms and not just weathered them, they grew in them. They became more focused, more humble, more determined, because storms don't just test your strength, they reveal it. So when the rain starts falling in your life, don't ask, why is this happening to me? Ask, what is this building in me? Is it patience? Is it grit? Is it clarity? Because let me tell you, when you come out of that storm, and you won't be the same. You'll be wiser, sharper, tougher. Your emotions won't rattle you like they used to, because now your mind is rooted. Now your foundation is deeper than your feelings. That's what gives you the edge, not the absence of storms, but the ability to stand tall in the middle of one and say, I'm still here, I'm still focused, I'm still moving forward. And that's power, that's winning. Discipline is not something that shows up when you feel good. It's not born in comfort. It's not a result of motivation or inspiration. Discipline is a decision, a raw, sometimes painful, but always powerful decision you make, especially when you don't feel like it. Let me say this loud, if you only move when it feels good, you'll never get far. If your emotions are the thermostat, your life will go hot and cold every time the temperature shifts. But when you choose discipline, real discipline, you choose consistency over chaos. You choose results over excuses. You choose growth over comfort. I've seen this play out not just in my own life, but in the lives of others, actors, athletes, business leaders, soldiers, single mothers, students grinding through the night. They all have one thing in common. They do what needs to be done regardless of how they feel. See, feelings are fickle. They can change based on the weather, your sleep, one conversation, one bad piece of news. But discipline don't care about feelings. Discipline says, I don't need to feel like it to do it. I just need to decide that I will. There were mornings I didn't want to go to rehearsals. Days when I doubted myself so deeply I wanted to disappear. Nights I was tempted to ease up, to coast, to say, I've done enough. But something in me, something deeper than emotion, said, keep showing up, keep sharpening, keep praying, keep working. That was discipline. That wasn't a mood. That wasn't a vibe. That was a choice. You want to be successful? Then you better understand this. Discipline is the difference between what you want now and what you want most. Right now, you might want to rest. You might want to scroll. You might want to escape the pressure, the pain, the uncertainty. But what you want most, the dream, the impact, the legacy that takes sacrifice. That takes doing the thing when your body is tired, your emotions are loud, and no one's clapping for you. That's what separates the few who become from the many who wish. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying be a robot. I'm not saying ignore your emotions. What I'm saying is, you train your emotions to follow your discipline, not the other way around. You lead your heart. You teach your feelings who's boss, because there's always going to be a reason not to do it. Always the timing's wrong, you're too stressed, too broke, too alone. But you've got to learn to look those excuses in the eye and say, I'm doing it anyway. You show up to the gym when no one's watching. You write the book when nobody's reading it. You study for the test when your friends are out partying. You practice your craft in the dark so you can shine in the light. Discipline is what makes the impossible possible. It's the bridge between vision and reality. It's the engine that runs when motivation dies out. Every time you say yes to discipline, you're stacking bricks on the foundation of your future. You're telling life, I'm not here to play small. I'm here to build something that lasts. And believe me, that kind of mindset, that kind of commitment, that changes everything. Your mind is a muscle, and like any muscle, it gets stronger the more you train it. But what fuels that training, what gives it purpose, direction, and endurance is faith. Faith and focus. Without those two, your mind becomes like a car with no driver. It moves, sure, but it crashes just as easily. Faith is not just something you feel on Sunday morning. Faith is what carries you through Monday when everything's going wrong. Faith is that quiet strength that whispers, keep going. When the world is screaming, give up. I've had moments where the lights were bright on the outside, but dark on the inside. I was achieving on paper, but doubting in spirit. And in those moments, I didn't need more applause. I didn't need more opportunity. I needed more alignment. I needed to get back to that still place inside where I remembered why I started, who I was doing it for, and what I believed in. Because if your mind is strong but not rooted in something deeper, it becomes sharp but aimless. It can solve problems, but it can't give you peace. It can make moves, but it won't make meaning. That's why faith matters. Faith gives your mind direction. It reminds you that you're not just grinding for a title, or a check, or a moment of glory. You're moving toward purpose. And focus. Focus is how you protect that purpose. Focus is how you cut through the noise of the world, the chatter of your insecurities, the voices telling you you're not enough. It's how you tune in to what matters and tune out what doesn't. You know how many people lose because they're focused on everything. They're chasing 100 things, listening to 100 opinions, reacting to 100 emotions, and then they wonder why they feel scattered, stuck, frustrated. But when you have focus, real focus, everything shifts. You stop trying to be everywhere and start being exactly where you need to be. You stop chasing approval and start walking in conviction. Your mind becomes clear. Your energy becomes concentrated. You're no longer running, you're moving with intention. And understand that kind of focus isn't accidental, it's daily work. It's a decision to protect your time, your thoughts, your space. It's turning off the noise, turning down the doubt, and turning inward to the truth. It's knowing, I don't need to be seen right now, I need to be steady. It's saying, I'm not chasing what's popular, I'm pursuing what's powerful. And some days that'll be lonely, some days you'll be misunderstood. But when your mind is locked in and your faith is alive in you, you won't need validation because you already have vision. Faith reminds you that there's something bigger guiding your steps. Focus makes sure you don't get distracted on the way. Together, they make your mind unstoppable, because when your mind is fueled by faith and fixed by focus, your emotions may flare up, but they can't throw you off course. You don't just respond to life, you command it. You don't just survive the day, you own it. You don't just dream, you deliver. And that's when you know you're not just strong, you're unshakable. You were not born to live life on defense. You weren't created just to make it through, to scrape by, to hold your breath until it's safe to dream again. No, you were built for more than survival. You were built to win, but winning doesn't happen by accident. It doesn't show up wrapped in ease or convenience. Winning demands that you choose who's in control, your fleeting emotions or your focused mind. Every day, life hands you moments of pressure, moments of doubt, moments of discomfort. And in those moments, most people shrink, they hesitate, they start negotiating with their potential. Maybe I'm not ready, maybe I'm not good enough, maybe this isn't for me. That's the emotional mind talking. That's fear dressed in logic, but winning begins the moment you say, I'm done playing small, I'm done shrinking to fit the moment. The moment's gonna rise to fit me. To live like that, you've got to take full responsibility for your inner world. That means when fear shows up, you don't run, you sit it down and ask, what are you trying to protect me from? And then you move forward anyway. When self-doubt knocks, you don't open the door and invite it in. You remind yourself of every trial you've already faced and walked through. You stop waiting for clarity from the outside and start creating certainty from within. Winners don't wait for everything to be perfect. They move in uncertainty, they build in the dark, they show up when no one's clapping. They create discipline in silence and confidence through repetition. Start your day with intention, not scrolling, not reacting, but with silence. Breathe, pray, journal. Read something that lifts you higher than where you started. Why? Because the first voice you hear in the morning shouldn't be the world's opinion. It should be your own internal compass, guided by purpose, not pressure. Next, define your targets. What does winning look like for you today? Not someday, today. Is it staying calm when someone tests your patience? Is it finishing what you said you'd start? Is it getting back up after being knocked down yesterday? Make it specific. Winning isn't vague, it's measurable, repeatable, personal. Now, here's the part most people skip: emotional accountability. Throughout your day, your emotions will rise and fall. That's human, but you need a mental system to check yourself. Ask, is this emotion helping or hurting my progress? If it's pulling you off course, pause. Take a breath, recenter, replace reactivity with responsibility. You win not just by controlling what you do, but by mastering how you think about what you do. Speak to yourself like someone you care about. Interrupt negative thoughts with truth. Use your words like weapons for your future. Say out loud, I am focused, I am grounded, I am built for this. Because your brain listens when you talk. And if you speak weakness, you'll feel it. But if you speak power, your body will follow. And above all, stop aiming to get through the day. Start aiming to own it. Show up like your presence matters, because it does. Work like your gifts were made on purpose, because they were. Walk like your vision is sacred, because it is. Winning doesn't mean every moment feels good. It means you kept showing up even when it didn't. It means you followed through when nobody asked you to. It means your mind refused to bow down to emotions that came to distract, delay, or destroy. You win when your thoughts become stronger than your moods. You win when your actions rise above your fears. You win when your mindset leads and your emotions follow. You win not someday, not maybe, but the moment you decide to, and that decision, that's yours right here, right now. So let me leave you with this. Life is not asking for your perfection. It's not demanding that you never feel fear, never feel tired, never break down. No, life is asking for your decision. Will you let your emotions lead you, or will you lead them? Will you be a prisoner of your moods or a commander of your mind? Because you will face storms, you will feel doubt, you will fall. But hear me, you don't lose when you fall. You lose when you forget who you are. And who you are is stronger than the storm, smarter than the fear, bigger than the pressure. You are a builder, a fighter, a leader, and your greatest victories will come not when life is easy, but when your mind is louder than your emotions, and your spirit is louder than your excuses. So every day from here on out, make the choice. Choose discipline over distraction. Choose vision over emotion. Choose purpose over comfort. And when it's hard, not if, but when, I want you to remember this moment. I want you to remember that the win doesn't happen out there, in applause, in trophies, in titles. The win happens inside. The win happens the moment you say, I'm not backing down, not today, not ever. Because you win. When your mind is stronger than your emotions, now go and win every single day like it's your birthright, because it is.